We are seeing kids walk out of schools across the country tonight, demanding lawmakers do something to change gun laws after the killings of 3 9-year-olds and 3 school staffers at the Covenant School in Nashville. Take a look here on screen. Tampa, Boston, Denver, and in Tennessee, in Johnson City, you have these walkouts with chants of protect our kids. But will any changes to gun laws actually happen in Tennessee? Democrats there hope so. They've introduced some new bills in just the last couple of hours, including one ban on high-capacity magazines and bump stocks and universal background checks. But they say that is actually not what's on the mind of Republicans right now.
People are begging for us to do something across the state. And instead of us having meaningful conversations, we've been distracted with an expulsion of some of our members.
He's talking about a vote tomorrow by Republicans to expel 3 Democratic lawmakers, potentially as soon as tomorrow, for speaking up in support of some of these protesters who came into the state capitol demonstrating to try to get the state's gun laws changed. But in those pictures you just saw, you may have also seen some people carrying signs saying justice for the Tennessee 3. These are the Tennessee 3, so-called, here on your screen here, including State Representative Gloria Johnson, which brings us to tonight's Newsmaker, where we go one-on-one with the people making headlines on the issues we're talking about. Representative Johnson is joining us now. She represents a district that includes Knoxville. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having it. And it's an important story to share, and we appreciate that.
Well, here we are 24 hours away, less than that, actually, on this vote that could essentially kick you out of the Tennessee State House, the position that you got when you were obviously voted into it. Republicans have a 75-24 majority. It doesn't seem like the numbers are on your side, but how do you think it's going to go tomorrow? What are you anticipating?
Well, they definitely have the votes. If they're going to bring it forward, I am ready. We are all ready to state our case in the public view, with all Tennesseans watching. We came here, our voters sent us here to lift up their voice, a voice that is not heard quite often in the state house due to a Republican supermajority. We are here to represent those that are in our district and speak up for the voices of Tennessee that are crying out for an answer to the issue, to the problem of gun violence, especially after we lost Evelyn, Hallie, William, Cynthia, Catherine, and Mike. We have got to do something. They do a lot of thoughts and prayers here, but no action. And when we tried to stand up to talk about this, the first action they took was not to talk about ending gun violence, but to remove or expel the members who were trying to bring this issue to the table.
Now, the Republicans, and I just want to ask something. You said if they bring this tomorrow. I think they're planning to. Have you heard anything differently in the last couple hours?
They are planning to. You know, I mean, I haven't heard anything differently. They don't have to bring the resolution forward, but I think they will.
Well, let me explain to people, because the Republicans are saying here, including the Speaker of the House in the state of Tennessee, Cameron Sexton, that you and these other 2 lawmakers, you broke the rules. He says you broke the rules by coming onto the House floor to do this protest here, and says he's going to vote to expel you. He was on Fox News today. I want to play for you what the House Speaker said.
In workplace, you have rules that you break. Sometimes those rules put a letter in your file. Sometimes the rules that you break have you get fired. In this instance, this rises to the level, I believe, of their actions on the House floor to be expelled.
He is saying that you broke the rules, so you got to get fired, essentially, or kicked out. Explain why you don't see it that way.
Well, that incident was one incident in the entire day where there was a skirmish between a couple of teenagers and the highway patrol. That had zero to do what was happening on the House floor. We were sitting at our desk. We were tired of the fact that we were not allowed to welcome the protesters, to talk about, we hear them, we see them, and we care about this issue, and we're going to talk about it as a legislative body. We wanted them to know that. We were not allowed to bring that up on the House floor. My colleagues were gaveled down. I was not called on when I raised my hand. And so we decided between bills, we would walk to the well and recognize the protesters who had come there, the issue that they cared about, and the fact that there are many of us in that room that wanted to talk about those issues. When the Democrats walked into onto the House floor that morning, we stopped, we talked to people. I talked to mothers who cried about dropping their kids off that morning because they were concerned about their safety. And we talked to those people as we walked through. And as my colleagues across the aisle passed through the protesters, they didn't even make eye contact. They didn't even recognize that they were standing there, what they were there for. We wanted to welcome. We have something at the beginning of session called welcoming and honoring. We skipped over that, and we were not able to welcome or honor those folks there. And so we decided to walk to the floor.
You're making the point that you felt like this was a justified, essentially, protest for the protesters who had showed up in the State House here. But I want to ask you before we run out of time about the issue underlying all this, which is the potential for any changes to Tennessee's gun laws in the first place. In an interview with your local paper, I think you said that Republicans, some of them that you're speaking with, are open to some changes. We also know that the state's governor, Bill Lee, has not suggested publicly so far that he's interested in any new changes to the state's gun laws here. Realistically, what are the chances something will change?
Well, who knows? We are willing to come to the table. My colleagues are ready to come to the table. I've carried red flag laws twice before and have one ready for next session. I hope that they will come to the table. I'll hope they listen to the voters.
State Representative Gloria Johnson from Tennessee, thank you. We will be watching and covering what happens at the Tennessee State House tomorrow right here on this show on NBC News Now. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.